From selling 1,500 gold-covered steaks globally and attracting A-list celebrities to now closing restaurants, facing multiple lawsuits, and even setting guests on fire, Salt Bae's empire is spectacularly collapsing. Today, we're dissecting the shocking downfall of Salt Bae, the once viral culinary sensation. We'll unravel how unchecked ego, disastrous management, and a relentless pursuit of spectacle transformed a global brand into a symbol of excess and incompetence, revealing why his lavish empire is now bleeding customers and seemingly on the brink of bankruptcy. Imagine you create a viral internet moment that catapults you to global fame. What's the first thing you'd prioritize to ensure long-term success and avoid the fate of becoming a one-hit wonder? Share your strategy in the comments below. Once upon a time, Salt Bae, born Nusret Gökçe, was an unstoppable phenomenon, a living meme who flipped a single iconic gesture into a global luxury empire. His signature move, the dramatic slow-motion sprinkling of salt down his forearm, captivated the internet, transforming him from a chef into an international celebrity practically overnight. He swiftly leveraged this fame into a culinary dynasty, launching Nusret, his eponymous luxury steakhouse brand. What began in Istanbul rapidly expanded to opulent hotspots across the globe, including Dubai, Miami, New York, London, Doha, Mykonos, and Beverly Hills. These weren't just restaurants. They were lavish, theatrical, gold-leaf circus acts, where the food, almost secondary to the spectacle, came with mind-boggling price tags. He was famously selling $100 burgers, $1,000 steaks, and even $99 milkshakes adorned with literal gold flakes, prompting the thought, I don't think that's a dessert. I think that's a choking hazard. Yet, remarkably, the exorbitant prices didn't deter anyone. The allure of the viral moment, the unique experience, and the sheer audacity of the brand overshadowed all logic. Celebrities from the likes of Leonardo DiCaprio to David Beckham and DJ Khaled flocked to his establishments, eagerly recording slow-motion videos of Salt Bae performing his signature salt sprinkle as if it were performing a heart surgery. For a glorious moment, business was booming. The Nusret brand was undeniably hot, the vibes were perpetually viral, and the financial receipts were massive. The empire's ascent was as rapid as its decline. As quickly as Salt Bae's brand exploded onto the global scene, it began to unravel, and with even greater speed. The novelty, which was the bedrock of his initial success, inevitably wore off. The clout ran dry, revealing the underlying mediocrity of the product. The once revered, golden-flaked food became the subject of widespread ridicule and online clowning. And, perhaps most damagingly, a torrent of lawsuits began flying, exposing a rot from within that the gilded exterior could no longer conceal. Firstly, the well-being of his employees became a serious point of contention. In one significant lawsuit, 4 former workers leveled damning accusations, claiming that Salt Bae was systematically stealing 3% of their tips. When these courageous employees confronted him about the alleged wage theft, Salt Bae, with a chilling display of authoritarian power, fired all of them faster than he slices a ribeye. These weren't just random disgruntled waiters. They described Salt Bae as possessing a dictator complex, even drawing comparisons to the infamous fictional mob boss Tony Montana, embodying a say hello to my little steak kind of vibes. The accusations extended further. Employees claimed he openly disregarded labor laws, subjected them to public humiliation, and treated his staff as if they were disposable utensils. One former employee vividly recounted that working at the London location felt like the Hunger Games, while another bluntly described the entire operation as gold on the outside, crap on the inside. A former manager summed up the pervasive ego, stating, his world is just Instagram and fame. He thinks he's a god. The initial lawsuit was far from an isolated incident. Instead, it proved to be a harbinger of deeper, systemic issues within Salt Bae's burgeoning empire. In 2023, Business Insider dropped a bombshell expose featuring damning testimonies from 9 former employees spanning 6 different Nusret restaurants across the globe. The accusations leveled against Salt Bae and his organization painted a truly disturbing picture, encompassing a wide array of egregious labor practices and unethical behavior. These included widespread allegations of wage theft, which seemed to be a recurring theme, alongside claims of discrimination based on nationality, suggesting a preferential treatment or mistreatment of staff based on their origin. Furthermore, the expose detailed instances of forcing women to wear revealing clothes, a blatant disregard for professional boundaries and employee comfort, coupled with pervasive verbal abuse. Perhaps most unsettling were the consistent reports of sudden firings without any just cause or reason, leaving employees vulnerable and financially precarious. The situation was grimly characterized as Hooters met Wolf of Wall Street and opened a steakhouse, with the crucial difference being that instead of money raining down, it's lawsuits. This underscored a systemic problem that went far beyond isolated incidents, painting a picture of an environment where exploitation and arbitrary power plays were the norm. Beyond the mounting legal battles, the core product itself, the food, was always unequivocally mid. Customers customers were never truly paying $1,000 not for taste, but for TikToks, a testament to the ephemeral nature of Salt Bae's initial viral appeal. The culinary experience was merely a backdrop for the performative, gold-flaked spectacle. Once the initial clout wore off, so did the customers, exposing the fundamental flaw in his business model. The consequences were swift and severe. In 2024, 3 of his New York restaurants closed their doors, a stark symbol of his declining fortunes. This included the infamous Salt Bae burger, the very establishment that audacity sold 99 Gold Flakes milkshakes and 100 burgers. The commentary vividly captured the absurdity. Bro thought he was flipping Krabby Patties for billionaires. Most astonishingly, Salt Bae himself appeared genuinely deluded about his pricing strategy, seemingly believing his food was fairly priced. In a clip, he asserted, "Is it so expensive? We are not expensive. This is, perception, not reality. Our product is the best of the best." His London flagship restaurant, once a gold printing machine with bills bigger than college tuition, saw its profits plummet by a staggering 48%, with sales plunging 31%. Desperate cost-cutting measures even included turning off the heating to cut costs during the UK winter, leaving customers freezing their baguettes off while paying $630 for a tomahawk. The restaurant's TripAdvisor ranking plummeted to 14,570 out of 15,700, placing it in the bottom 4%, performing worse than even microwave dinners. The decline wasn't confined to London. Over in Greece, Salt Bae's once-packed steakhouse experienced a precipitous drop in daily bookings, falling from an impressive 600 a day to a mere 200, a devastating 67% plunge. Salt Bae's global empire was undeniably bleeding customers like a rare steak on a paper plate. The financial hemorrhage was undeniable. And then there was Boston. That location was infamously shut down a week after opening due to a litany of COVID rule violations, including blocked fire exits, broken refrigerators, a broken dishwasher, and severe overcrowding. These operational failures painted a clear picture of mismanagement and a blatant disregard for safety and regulations. Yet, despite these accumulating disasters, Salt Bae continued to dig his own grave, almost deliberately making matters worse for himself. In January 2024, he posted a photograph of a bill from his Dubai restaurant that totaled an astronomical upwards of $150,000 for a single meal. The caption, a tone-deaf attempt at a flex, read, "Money comes, money goes, buddy. It's mostly going down." This performative display of excess backfired spectacularly, unleashing a torrent of immediate public backlash. Comments flooded in. "This could feed 100,000 kids," and "This is sickening during a global recession. You should be ashamed." It was a stark reminder that Salt Bae had, in the past, notoriously feeding the Venezuelan president gold steaks while his country was starving. This exposed the core problem. Salt Bae's empire was never built on food. It was built on clout, shock value, and self-worship. Now, even the very platforms that fueled his rise were turning against him. His Instagram growth in late 2023 severely dropped, with him even losing followers, a grim sign that even the bots don't want to follow him now. The most shocking and literally hottest moment of Salt Bae's career was also one of its darkest. In 2018, 4 tourists were set on fire at his Istanbul restaurant after a dramatic fire show, a staple of his theatrical dining experience, went horribly wrong. The tragic irony was inescapable. What pairs better with a $1,200 steak than third-degree burns? One of the victims, a Czech model, suffered catastrophic burns on 35% of her body, an agonizing and life-altering injury. The restaurant's response to this horrific incident was even more appalling. They reportedly destroyed all the footage of the incident and then ghosted her like it was a bad Tinder date. She never received any compensation. Zero. Nada. While Salt Bae eventually paid out $230,000 in settlements, it was notably not to the woman whose flesh got flamed and spent years in hospital, raising serious questions about where that money actually went. This demonstrated a callous disregard for human life and a clear attempt to evade responsibility. Beyond his business woes, Salt Bae also hit peak public cringe during the 2022 FIFA World Cup final. After Argentina's victory, he somehow slithered onto the pitch, pestering a visibly uncomfortable Lionel Messi for a selfie, pulling on his arm like a desperate fan who snuck backstage at a concert. Messi's face clearly conveyed a "Who is this guy and why is he touching me?" energy. Salt Bae then grabbed the actual World Cup trophy, kissed it like he scored the winning goal, and bit a medal like it's a golden nugget at a pawn shop, acting as if he was part of the team. FIFA, rightly outraged, launched an investigation and subsequently banned him from future events. If you're finding this comprehensive breakdown of Salt Bae's implosion as compelling as a perfectly cooked steak without the fire hazards, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. We bring you weekly deep dives into the rise and fall of public figures, ensuring you stay in the know. Your support helps us continue exposing the truth. Salt Bae's response to the FIFA World Cup incident was a predictable blend of feigned ignorance and crocodile tears. He attempted to spin the situation, claiming, "Oh, I'm sorry, sorry, I didn't know." The obvious retort, however, was scathing. "Sure, buddy, you didn't know you're not allowed to run onto the pitch of a World Cup final? Why did you go onto the World Cup pitch after the final, touch the World Cup, and kiss the World Cup? What were you thinking?" His performative apology continued. "You know, I love Argentina, I love football, and this is the accident. Before I don't know the rules, now I know the rules. Next World Cup, I never touch the World Cup. I got, of course, stadium, but I never touch again." This attempt at contrition only made it worse for himself. More recently, during the Champions League final, security had to physically escort Salt Bae away from the event. He had brazenly tried to sneak in like he was some big-time celebrity, but security, unmoved by his fading aura, simply responded, "Nope, your clout's fallen off. We don't care about you anymore." It was a moment of profound public embarrassment. He then awkwardly tried to sign people's cards, only to be met with outright rejection. "Yeah, we don't want your signature." This public humiliation underscored the extent of his plummeting star power. This is where the story truly becomes sad. Salt Bae isn't merely a controversial chef. He's a cautionary tale of someone who bought into his own memes so hard he forgot to run the business. His Instagram, once a testament to his viral success, now serves as a grim reflection of his decline. It's a bizarre collage: 50% shirtless gym pics, a desperate attempt to maintain a fabricated image, 30% awkward selfies of celebs who don't want to be there, highlighting his fading appeal to the A-list, and 20% overfiltered photos of a gold meat no one asked for, showcasing a disconnect from actual culinary appeal. He genuinely tried to turn a 5-second viral sprinkle into a billion-dollar lifestyle brand. But the harsh truth, now painfully clear, is that you can't build a legacy out of memes and mustard-colored steak. Eventually, people demand actual value, not just theatrics, not a constant stream of lawsuits, and definitively, not a $275 steak that tastes like sadness. Salt Bae is now trapped in a strange, purgatorial space. Too famous to be forgotten, too embarrassing to be taken seriously, and too broke to keep the illusion going. He is closing restaurants faster than he's gaining followers, a direct indicator of his collapsing business. His staff are either quitting, suing, or both, signaling a complete breakdown of internal operations and employee morale. His food is now openly clowned by every YouTuber, a public mockery that further tarnishes his brand. And his public appearances are now synonymous with secondhand embarrassment to billions. Even the once dazzling gold leaf can't cover this mess anymore, symbolizing the irrecoverable damage to his brand and reputation. The moral of Salt Bae's story is abundantly clear. He had a moment, and to be fair, it was genuinely iconic. He successfully leveraged a simple, viral arm sprinkle into a global business, achieving a level of fame and financial success that most meme lords can only dream of. Yet, somewhere along the way, the core purpose of his venture, food, service, or even genuine entertainment, got utterly lost. It became entirely about ego, insatiable greed, and grotesque excess. The literal gold got heavier than the steak it was wrapped around, symbolizing how his self-indulgence crushed the very product he was selling. In the end, he was burned by the fire show, engulfed by lawsuits, abandoned by customers, excoriated by critics, and ultimately consumed by the very fame he chased so relentlessly. Let this serve as a crucial lesson to every aspiring viral icon out there. Clout fades, bad steak reviews don't. He could have simply opened a respectable, normal restaurant and maintained a degree of humility. But no, he had to make it special because he thinks he's him. The consequences are now undeniable.